We were talking just yesterday about the large numbers we're seeing come through in the labour market, and I'm sitting here wondering just how much worse this will get and how long it will take for things to get better. I know that you're thinking about the next decade ahead. I just want to start by thinking about a psychological question, why it's so difficult to conceptualise numbers this large. Nouriel, you've studied this field for a long time. How do you answer that question?
Well, in my view, the markets are ignoring these numbers that are really awful because they're still of the view that while we are still in the middle of this severe recession, there'll be a V-shaped recovery starting in the third quarter of this year. Therefore, they're totally dismissive of the fact that right now we're still in a free fall because they expect this V-shaped recovery. And if you look at earnings expectations, being of the year where 170 for S&P 500 earnings per share, they're falling only 20%, and people expect that by Q4 they're going to go back to what they were at the beginning of the year, 170. I think it's totally far-fetched. The economy is going to go through a U-shaped recovery. Earnings are going to fall from 170 to 100. We're lucky if they're going to be back to 140 next year. So these valuations don't make sense because the market is pricing in a V-shaped recovery while the economy, with the deleveraging that's going to occur both in the corporate sector and the household sector, everybody has to save more and do less capex and less investment to repair balance sheets. Saving more means reducing spending, consumption for households, labor costs for the firm sector, and less investment means less capex by the corporate sector and less residential investment by household sector. That's a recipe for a U-shaped recovery. Therefore, I don't know how do you get a V. Second argument people make in the market is, well, with zero policy rates and 10-year bond yields at 0.6, you can have much higher P ratios even if the economy is lousy. It's just liquidity. But, liquidity can sustain markets only for a while once they have gravitational forces fundamentals. But even if you look at liquidity, if you look at the, say, 12-month forward earnings yield for S&P 500 firms, right now is only 400 basis points above 10-year treasuries. During the global financial crisis, the number was 700. So you're not even compensated given the uncertainties. There's no even guidance about profits and earnings. There's huge uncertainty, and you're supposed to having P ratios of 23 right now. This doesn't make any sense. I think that market is driven just by essentially delusion about the shape of the recovery, by liquidity, and a bit of FOMO. I mean, all these unemployed millennials and folks, what they've been doing for last month, creating new accounts by the millions on online brokers and trying to bet on the market. So there's a bit of FOMO as well. But it's not fundamentals.